Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. This is the first trading day of 2017, January 3rd, 2017. Welcome to the open report here for Europe. My name is Joseph Cusick from the Cusick Group, securities offered by MoneyBlock, here to give you the opening report on the European stock exchanges here from MarketStream.live. We're so excited about this new year to bring you a whole plethora of new, engaging, live market information. So let's jump right in and take a look at Germany's DAX. It's just above the flat line early in the session. Now, Germany did report its unemployment levels, and the rate came in at just above 6%. And that was right in line with expectations. We also see that the euro continues to retreat against the dollar, down about 0.7% at 103.83. That has exporters in Germany on the move to the upside. You got Volkswagen, Daimler, Continental, and BMW all up between 1.4% and 3.1%, while financials, they continue to be mixed. You have Deutsche Bank lower by about 0.2%, and Commerzbank is now trading to the upside up about 2.5%. Now, EWG is the ETF you can take a look at that tracks German stocks. The ETF is trading at $26.48. Now, over the next 3 days, they're pricing in the potential range of around 32 cents in this $26 stock. They're also, over the next 17 days, pricing in the potential of about a 74-cent range for EWG. There's not a heightened expectation of huge violent moves in the near term for Germany, and the price trend has been to the upside. Keep an eye on 26.14 and 25.65. These are going to be two critical levels that have to hold if the bullish trend is going to continue in Germany. Now, switching our eyes over to the UK FTSE, it's higher by about 0.5%. And you have some action in the currency world right now, and specifically taking a look at the pound. The pound is actually up about 0.1% at 122.85 against the dollar. Now, that is unusual. There has been normally some mixed currency action against an unbelievably strong dollar. We also had British Prime Minister May come out, and she said that they're going to trigger in early March the Article 50 of the Lisbon Treaty. So there is some conviction there. You also had the UK's PMI, the manufacturing PMI, come out at 56.1. That's well above what estimates were at 53. So there's some there looks to be some expectation of some pretty decent economic growth going forward. Now, taking a look at who has actually been moving to the upside early in this session, you have financial names. You have Barclays, Lloyds, you have RBS, Standard Chartered, and HSBC up between 1.8% and 3.4%. You do have some lag, though, in the consumer segment. You have Next, Dixon's, Carphone, Marks & Spencer, as well as Persimmon and Kingfisher, all down by about 1.2% to 3.3%. To keep an eye on these stocks, you can look at EWU. They track these stocks and many more in the FTSE, trading at around $30.44. Now, they're pricing in around a 20-cent range, actually more like a 70-cent range over the next 17 days. In EWU, the implied volatility is relatively inexpensive. That's telling you folks, for those of you that are like, what's implied volatility? That's that forecast of potential violent moves. The higher that number gets, the higher the expectation of potential violent moves. Well, it's very low, right around 15.45%. So with that being said, critical levels that we're going to want to watch, especially if you're a bull. You're going to want to watch 30.33. That's the 50-day moving average. It wants to be. You got to hold that to keep the current trend to the upside intact. 30.77 will be a catalyst on the short term if you're going to see a shift and the bulls are actually taking control. And 31.15, a broach of 31.15 means that the overall trend of the British markets has shifted dramatically to the upside. We'll keep an eye on those levels. Now, taking a look at France, and the CAC has added about 0.5% so far this session. You have exporters and financials that are really setting the tone right now and pacing the advance. Peugeot and Renault are holding some pretty decent gains of 3.8% and 1.9% respectively. Financials like Societe Generale, Credit Agricole, and BNP Paribas are up between 1.9% and 2.9% early in the session. Now, EWQ is the ETF that tracks these stocks and many more in the French CAC, trading at around $24.15. Let's keep an eye on this. The next 17 days, they're pricing in a range of around 73 cents, either up or down. Critical levels that are going to be watched. 23.92, that's the 50-day moving average. We want that held if we're going to see the current trend stay intact. 24.32 would be a catalyst to the upside. That would be where short-term traders could be starting to look at the French stocks and the French markets from a positive light and really get this upside trend going and moving to the upside. 23.94 is going to be that long-term support. If there's going to be a trend shift and that's broken, that could be a trend shift to the downside. As a matter of fact, what we're going to keep an eye on during the session also today is going to be the yields on their 10-year products. Specifically, taking a look at France, the 10-year Oats is trading up 8 basis points at 0.74%. That means the bonds in France are really getting pounded from a price side. That's a big pop in yield. You also have Germany's 10-year Bund up about 6 basis points at 0.24%. They're starting to make up some ground on that disparity between the 10-year here in the United States and the Treasury side and the 10 years in Europe. Taking a look at UK, the 10-year gilt is up 9 basis points at 1.19%. Still well off where we are in the United States at roughly right around 2.55%, but still movement in the upside in yields, prices down on bonds. That means that money is going to potentially be plowing into the equity markets. We're going to keep an eye on that. All right, folks, that's it for the opening bell action here in Europe. We're going to be getting back online at 9:30 Eastern time here at MarketStream.live to cover all of the happenings on the U.S. Open. So we'll see you then.